Lewis Hamilton should learn to read the fine print. He is now facing a situation where a clause in his Ferrari contract is forcing him to part ways with an ally he hoped to bring with him to Maranello. Could this be the reason why analysts think that he is self-sabotaging this season? Let's find out in today's video. Ferrari has made a firm decision regarding Lewis Hamilton's contract, which prevents him from bringing his race engineer and close friend Peter Bonnington, also known as Bono, to the team. Instead, Hamilton will be collaborating with Riccardo Adami, who has been working with Carlos Sainz since his transition to Ferrari from McLaren. Hamilton and Bonnington have formed a remarkable partnership at Mercedes, with Bono playing a crucial role in helping Hamilton secure 6 Drivers' Championship titles with the team. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff discussed the possibility of Peter Bonnington joining Ferrari following Lewis Hamilton's departure. The Express quoted him as saying, "I think this is a discussion which everyone needs to have in the months to come. And as much as I've spoken with Bono already, when I told him about the move, he said, 'Is it April the 1st? That's something which we will discuss in the future.'" However, the iconic duo won't continue working together beyond the conclusion of the 2024 season. According to an Italian news report from Analisi Tecnica, a non-poaching clause in his Mercedes contract, which was signed midway through the 2023 season, has prevented Ferrari from enticing Bonnington from Brackley to Maranello. Adami secured his position after a comparable contract clause prevented 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel from bringing Guillaume Rocky Roccolin with him from Red Bull in 2015. Since then, Adami has consistently impressed Ferrari's leadership with his performance alongside the renowned German driver, and more recently, with Carlos Sainz. While Lewis Hamilton will undoubtedly feel a sense of sadness as his long-standing partnership with Bonnington concludes after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, reports suggest that the 39-year-old is looking forward to collaborating with Adami. The biggest hurdle for the 7-time world champion right now is learning Italian. "In all these years, I've not managed to learn any other languages, but of course I'll definitely try," he said. "I do remember when I was karting in Italy, and I was able to pick up a few lines, and so hopefully that will come back to me pretty quickly." While the switch won't happen until season's end, there have been reports of Sir Lewis having already made the jump mentally. His commitment is being questioned, now more than ever. At the beginning of the 2022 Formula One season, Lewis Hamilton had every reason to feel disappointed. Despite overcoming setbacks such as a defect to Max Verstappen, Hamilton managed to win 3 out of the final 4 rounds in 2021. But during the finale in the desert, a pivotal moment occurred when Max Verstappen benefited from an unusual decision made during the safety car restart procedure. This decision allowed Verstappen to pass Hamilton on the last lap of the race in Abu Dhabi, securing his first F1 driver's title, and preventing Lewis Hamilton from achieving a record 8th championship. Since then, Hamilton has experienced a decline in performance and has not secured a win for over 2 years. His first season alongside George Russell as his new teammate at Mercedes showcased Hamilton's ability to assert his dominance, reminding everyone why he was dubbed the King of the Hot Laps as he outperformed the young upstart. The final tally ended with Hamilton outqualifying George Russell 13 times to 11. But Russell made a strong statement by finishing ahead of his teammate in 12 out of the 22 possible Grand Prix races of the year. George became only the 3rd driver in Lewis Hamilton's career to score more points in a season than the 7-time champion. In 2023, Lewis made a strong recovery by finishing ahead of George Russell 15 times, but the qualifying head-to-head battle was a closely contested affair, with both drivers sharing 11 occasions each when they outperformed the other side of the garage. Former world champion Jacques Villeneuve, now a paddock insider, is the second person to suggest that Lewis Hamilton has lost his edge, attributing it to the comfortable period when he raced alongside Valtteri Bottas. Hamilton and Bottas were teammates from 2017 to 2021, winning the Constructors' title each year. Although Hamilton secured 4 drivers' titles during this period, he was not significantly challenged by his teammate. In an interview with GP fans, Jacques Villeneuve characterizes George Russell's promotion to Mercedes as a wake-up call for Lewis Hamilton. This move comes as Hamilton confirmed ahead of the season that he will make the surprising switch to Ferrari starting in 2025. Villeneuve said, "It's hard for a driver when you've spent years winning, and some years easy winning, especially when you had Bottas as a teammate. He was alone in the championship, basically. He didn't even need to be at his best to win like he had to do in his first championship, or a few other years against Nico Rosberg because Nico was really pushing him. He got really comfortable with Bottas, and he had a little bit of a wake-up call in 2022 when George joined. George just had that young energy wanting to destroy the world, and he did a lot better last year. Now, going to Ferrari might be like that little shock that you get, to give him that youth attitude. While it's still early in the season, George Russell has already outqualified and outscored Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton mentioned during the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix that Russell may be finding it easier to handle the challenging W15 car. According to former F1 technical director Gary Anderson, Mercedes is facing significant issues. Anderson suggests that the team is unsure whether their data is inaccurate or if the simulation tools they use to establish the car's baseline setup each F1 weekend are causing their challenges. Hamilton continued to make substantial setup changes during Practice 3 in Jeddah, a time when most drivers are typically fine-tuning their existing setups in preparation for qualifying. Former team owner Eddie Jordan commented on this over the weekend, speaking to David Coulthard. Lewis, I think, is a bit dejected already with the state of Mercedes. Mercedes and Toto Wolff, it's the same as last year, isn't it? It started poorly, it's very hard to catch up. When you've got somebody like Max Verstappen who has 51 points on the board or something like that already, I mean, it's just ridiculous. How is Mercedes going to compete? Lewis, God, he needs a result really badly. The reason why is because George is outshining him, just like what happened this time last year. Sure, Lewis got himself together halfway through and then went on to have a very strong second half of the season. But the championship is not two halves. It's a continuous race. There's 24 races. And in the races, 9th at the weekend, it's not good enough. He needs a big result. That's what I think. Considering the lackluster performance of the W15, it's not surprising that Lewis Hamilton may be shifting his focus towards his upcoming move to Ferrari. The Italian team appears to be in a better position to challenge Red Bull Racing this season, prompting Hamilton to look ahead to new opportunities and challenges. Channel 4 pundit David Coulthard has suggested that Lewis Hamilton's focus might already be on Ferrari mentally. Jacques Villeneuve believes that once Hamilton makes the move to Ferrari, the Lewis of his winning days will resurface, saying, "It's one of the best news we've had in a long, long time. Whether you're a fan of Lewis or not, it's huge news. It's amazing news for F1, for Ferrari, and for Lewis. It's good for everyone. It will be exciting to follow, and hopefully we get the Lewis of his winning days back. That change might build up the hunger again, that little adrenaline rush that wasn't there with the Mercedes that wasn't winning anymore." Hamilton will undoubtedly face stiff competition from Ferrari's homegrown talent, Charles Leclerc, who many consider to be the next best contender to challenge Max Verstappen. If Hamilton doesn't perform at his best, he could potentially be overshadowed by the young Monegasque driver in a year's time. However, for now, Hamilton has his legacy to uphold, and even for personal pride, he must strive to outperform his teammate. The Mercedes-AMG F1 team has struggled to grasp the new 2022 ground effect car design regulations, resulting in a car that hasn't been competitive enough to win races for its driver. Despite Toto Wolff's promises of a new concept for the W15 2024 Challenger, Lewis Hamilton feels that the technical team in Brackley has delivered more of the same without significant improvements. When Sky F1 asked how hard it was to get the qualifying result he was aiming for in Jeddah, Hamilton complained about the porpoising again, saying, "I mean, it's similar to previous years, I would say. It's something that they've not been able to fix. We made some changes overnight and this morning the car felt so much better. I was regaining this confidence again, and then when we get to qualifying, it disappears again." During the race in Jeddah, Hamilton noted that his car was being outperformed by the reigning world champion Max Verstappen, particularly in the high-speed sections of the Saudi track. Max is flat through turns 6, 7, 8, and the balance is just stable. And that's what we're working towards. We've got to fix it. It's 3 years in a row. We've got to get on top of it. His teammate George Russell had a few words to say about the car as well. He said, "Right now we're fluctuating in performance quite a lot. We're seeing potential in the car, but unfortunately these last 2 weekends we haven't really shown it when it's mattered, so we need to understand why that is and what we need to do." Andrew Shovlin, the trackside performance engineer at Mercedes, has been tasked with addressing the team's issues. He explains that the Mercedes car struggles in faster corners due to specific technical challenges or limitations. Shov said, "It is very close between ourselves, McLaren, Aston and Ferrari. We just need to be on top of it. It's a few things. One of them was the balance wasn't great, so those very fast corners, the walls aren't particularly far away. So the ones where the driver wants a lot of confidence, and quite often we were snapping to oversteer if they really leant on the tyres. And that, you can easily imagine how unsettling that is for the drivers." After the first 2 races of the season, do you think that Lewis Hamilton has mentally checked out of Mercedes? And more importantly, does he get a pass? Tell us what you think in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.